Hello guys, this is the Gaming Revolution here and welcome back to an all new Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Zombies video. Today, unexpectedly, we got our very first teaser for Black Ops Cold War Zombies featuring some gameplay. Yes, that is right, although it was very short. Now, the teaser was literally only 12 seconds long at the end of the multiplayer trailer that we got today, but I'll take it. It's better than nothing and we can actually take a lot out of this very short clip. You will definitely hear things that you will not hear coming from any other Call of Duty Zombies YouTubers within today's video. So I'm going to play it for you guys right now and then I'll come back and talk a little bit about it. So first things first, right as the trailer begins, and I'm sure you will have seen this elsewhere, you distinctively hear the Juggernog jingle. Yes, that is right, Juggernog is back. So we are going to be seeing classic perks back. We already knew Quick Revive was back because it has been found within the files of Modern Warfare. So what this means is that this new zombies experience within Black Ops Cold War is going to be set within the Etherverse. However, like Craig Houston stated at the end of Tag the Toten, the fact that they have established a multiverse means they can explore other stories contained within the multiverse that we haven't explored previously. So Primus, Victus, and also Ultimus are not returning, unfortunately. However, I'm sure there'll be plenty of references and Easter eggs to our classic characters, but I just don't think they will be the direct main focus of the storyline. Now, the trailer also showcases the Monkey Bomb, and I have been speculating about the Monkey Bomb returning within this game for quite some time because there is actually a weapon charm in Modern Warfare that's just like the Monkey Bomb. So yes, the Monkey Bomb is back, just more confirmation that this is going to be set within the Etherverse. Now we see a shot within the trailer which is actually the staircase from Nacht However, the wall is now covered in graffiti. So Nacht is back within this game. However, it seems like it's going to be a much larger and expanded upon version of Nacht. Now, considering we only see the 1911 within the gameplay, there is a high chance that Nacht could be the spawn room. And then you explore the map and pretty much the entire map is brand new, but there are some familiar locations. This is really funny because we've literally seen Nacht in every single Call of Duty Zombies Treyarch game since World at War, apart from Black Ops 4. When people were speculating about an Ether reboot, I'm sure they didn't think we would go right back to the start, the very first Zombies map, Nacht once again. Now we already know that this year's Zombies installment is going to be set within the Cold War, which is good because obviously it's called Black Ops Cold War. It's good that Zombies is actually set in the same time zone as the rest of the game, unlike with previous years. And we know that it's going to delve into the dark experiments during the Cold War. So if Nacht is back, I believe, and I have heard some information regarding this, that the storyline is going to be focused around them uncovering a lot of the Nazi zombies experiments during the Cold War. All of the stuff with Group 935, etc. We're going to uncover a lot of the stuff to do with the Wunderwaffe project and stuff like that during the Cold War, and that's going to be the main premise of the storyline. There's going to be a new outbreak, so they can explore how the outcome of the Cold War altered or changed due to the Duries massacre, and how the war was drastically changed due to new technological advantages, due to all of the new tech that was designed and found from Group 935 and stuff like that, since the Soviets and the CIA got hold of Group 935's technology. So since we're within the Etherverse, I would assume Element 115 is going to be the cause for the zombie outbreak once again. It's just going to be another story that's sort of like a side story, so I think it's good to get an outside perspective of the zombie storyline rather than just following Ultimus, Primus, and Victus all the time. Now we actually get some sort of side storyline still within the Etherverse, but it's unrelated to the main storyline, if that makes any sense. That way they can still do Easter eggs and references to that old stuff, but it's still connected to the old, just not directly. Now, Richtofen is obviously the creator of the Monkey Bomb. However, I don't think we're going to see Richtofen back like I talked about, but there are going to be lots of references to that OG storyline, and I do think that the monkey bombs are here simply because of the fact that the technology for them was stolen, and all of the technology from Group 935 was probably uncovered by the Russians. Now this shot here, a lot of people are thinking that this is the power room from TranZit. It definitely looks like there is some sort of generator in the middle. Now initially when I saw this, lots of people were pointing it out on Twitter. I'm not entirely convinced this is the power room from TranZit though. There are definitely things a lot different from it, unless they've just completely redesigned TranZit. It could have parts from TranZit, however it's like a completely different location. It's not say in Washington, maybe it's got a complete redesign. Obviously Nacht was also based in TranZit in Black Ops 2, so if TranZit is going to be back, it would make sense that Nacht and TranZit are together. But yeah, in my own personal opinion, I don't think this is the TranZit power room, although I do believe we are going to see TranZit in some form within this game, but I just don't think this is it. Now this map seems like an entirely new map. Even though Nacht seems to be in it, it seems like something we have not explored before. It's going to be an entirely new map. Maybe parts of the map might be Nacht and parts might be TranZit and stuff like that, but it does seem like it's pretty much an entirely new map. Unless we're just going to be playing on a 80s version of Nacht or even TranZit. Now another thing to point out is there is a new zombie type featured within the trailer. Now don't ask me how I know this, but I've seen actual footage of this zombie, and there is a dead one on the floor that you can see right within this shot. Now on screen right now you can see a zombie which is from Dying Light. It's a Hazmat Zombie, and this zombie looks very similar to this boss zombie. There is a new zombie type, a Hazmat Zombie, that's going to be within Black Ops Cold War Zombies. Now Dead Ops Arcade 3 is 100% in Black Ops Cold War Zombies as well, and this zombie is within Dead Ops Arcade 3. I made a video talking about Dead Ops Arcade 3 the other day if you want to go ahead and check that out. Now there is another new type of zombie that's not featured within the trailer, and it kind of looks similar to the Napalm Zombie from Shangri-La, or this concept design for a mutated Vietnam zombie experiment that was originally meant for Shangri-La, because Shangri-La was originally going to be set in Vietnam, but they ended up changing their plans. And yeah, there is a zombie that looks kind of similar to this that's also featured within Dead Ops Arcade 3 and is also going to be within this new zombies map. There is another new zombie that has a claw on its arm. It kind of looks similar to the Gladiator zombies that we saw within the Chaos story in Black Ops 4, but it isn't that. It's definitely different. It looks very different. That is also going to be a new zombie type in Black Ops Cold War. Now here is something huge. There's literally a nuke within the trailer. No one else seems to have pointed this out within videos. I will outline it right now, but this is huge. I feel like this might be some sort of Soviet facility or something like that. Phantom Ice pointed out on Twitter that it looks similar to the MK4 nuclear bomb. Now the next thing that I want to point out is interesting, because as I was saying earlier, I believe the storyline of this game is going to be during the Cold War, them uncovering all these Nazi zombies experiments from back in the day that we've explored within World at War Zombies on maps like Shinonuma, Der East, Nacht, etc. Well, there is this shot which says project and then it says something else in German, I believe, and there are some Soviet soldiers looking at this on the wall, this writing. So this could be the Soviets uncovering these Nazi experiments or something to do with Group 935. I don't know what the bottom word actually reads, but you can let me know down in the comment section down below, what do you think? Now, according to Long Sensation on Twitter, Nacht was reused during the Cold War for their nuclear program. So that could explain as to why there is a bunch of Russian stuff now on this map, and why it's been expanded upon, because maybe they turned it into some big Soviet facility. He said Nazi zombies escape and infect the site, so there are Russian plus Nazi zombies. And this kind of makes sense. We can clearly see both Russian as well as Nazi zombies if you actually zoom in on them. You can see they've got their red armbands on, so that could explain as to how there are Nazi zombies during the Cold War. He also said there's a new zombies crew, but that was obvious anyways. He said old weapons from World War II will remain on the site. We already know that we're going to be using Soviet and Cold War weaponry within this year's Zombies iteration from the official description, so it's good that we're going to get a lot of classic World War II weapons as well, but I mean, that was obvious anyways due to temporal displacement. So here is some really weird and contrasting information. So on the Nacht staircase with the graffiti on it reads, "Feel a world not new, a world not my own." Now this statement is really vague and it could mean a number of different things, but I find this statement really weird and I don't really know what it means. Is it something to do with the ether? Is it something to do with Agatha? What on earth is it referencing? referencing, or has someone been displaced from their home universe to another universe? I'm not sure. So yeah, maybe this could mean that the map is going to be set in the Dark Ether, because a lot of people have been speculating that after the end of Tag der Toten, where everything got sent into the Dark Ether, that could be the continuation of the storyline. And this quote is really weird, and it definitely could be hinting that the map could be set in the Dark Ether, but I'm leaning towards it not being set in the Dark Ether, and it's just some sort of side story within the Etherverse that we've already explored. But it could be set in the Dark Ether, I just don't think so. But what I want to point out is this is English writing. However, as I just said, the German writing seemed to point that this map is going to be set in Germany. Now, Geeky Pastimes actually pointed out on Twitter that the graffiti on the staircase looks very similar to this famous staircase from Berlin. And obviously, Nacht der Untoten was originally set in Berlin, so they could have taken inspiration from this graffiti, in which case this map could be set in the original location of Nacht der Untoten. However, the Soviets may have reused it for nuclear testing. I don't know why the Soviets would be in Germany though, and I don't know why there would be English writing either if this is the case. One could argue that the reason as to why there is English writing on the staircase is because this map is actually going to be set in the Hanford facility in Washington, aka TranZit. That would make sense as to why there is English writing there. Now, considering lots of people think that, as I was saying, this map could be TranZit, and there is a Hazmat Zombie, and there is also a Nuke on the map, what do we know is set near the Hanford facility, aka Green Run, aka TranZit? Nuketown. I don't know, it's just food for thought. Obviously, the Cold War was a nuclear arm race between America and the Soviets, the Russians. So maybe they uncovered a bunch of the Nazi zombies experiments from Group 935, and it helped sway the war in potentially the Americans' favour. Maybe this nuke is the possession of the Americans if there is English writing on the map. And if it is located in America, it kind of is more evidence that it could potentially be TranZit, or maybe it's just unrelated at all. However, I am leaning towards it being set in Berlin. I think there's more evidence that it is the original Nacht der Untoten as opposed to it being TranZit, but you could really make a case for it being either or. It's just up to personal preference or personal opinion. However, there is also a hammer and sickle Russian Soviet logo seen on the graffiti as well. So basically we have three contrasting pieces of information as to where this map is going to be set. We have hints to it being set in Germany, we have hints to it being set in Russia, and we also have hints to it being set in America, as we have English, we have Russian, and we also have German presence. So there are Nazi zombies on this map and also Soviet zombies. So wherever the location is of this map, we know for sure that there is American, Russian, and German presence, regardless of whether it's set in Germany, Russia, or America. So what do you think? Let me know down in the comment section down below. I'm personally leaning towards the fact that I think it's going to be set in Berlin, the original location of Nacht der Untoten. However, the facility has been expanded upon. Now, we see from the trailer that the character is holding a torch, whilst the entire map is dark. And according to Long Sensation, you start the map with a torch, but when you turn on the power, the light will come on and you will no longer need that torch. Now, I'm assuming the power is actually in this area where there's the big group of zombies at the bottom, where there seems to be this big power generator. I'm guessing before you turn on the power, there's going to be a ton of zombies aimlessly in the dark wandering about or just grouped up together, because if you notice, the zombies do not actually look at the player until the player shines the torch at them. So this is very similar to World War II zombies. They would do that in World War II zombies as well. You'd be roaming around in the dark and they'd just be stood there until you actually irritate them. But yeah, they're really going for a horror feel with this game, with the fact that you're just sort of shaking around in the dark with a torch. You hear the character heavily breathing through the little trailer clip. It's very reminiscent of a horror game, especially with how much the gun sways and moves. They're not holding the gun very firmly, they're clearly very scared, and it's kind of more realistic. Now, within the trailer, it seems very similar to World War II zombies. We know Sledgehammer Games are working on this game as well, so I'm assuming they've had quite a bit of influence in terms of this game. It's really similar to World War II zombies, even the way the zombies just sort of stand there and look clueless, and just their animations and stuff like that really looks similar to World War II zombies. It looks very similar to the final Reich, where you would obviously go underground within the tunnels and everything was dark and stuff like that. But the good thing about Treyarch is that they like a bright color palette, and there is tons of bright colors. Even though it does have quite a dark, gloomy atmosphere, it's sort of contrasted by the bright graffiti on the walls and the other bright colors that we see. But yeah, the shot of the zombie where it jumps up at the end of the character really reminds me of the jump scares in World War II zombies, and they were really cringy. They were clearly just done for cliche, "Ooh, you got me," when really they were just really stupid. So I'm hoping they are not back, or at least really toned down. Now, we do see that the zombie eye color is yellow. However, I don't think this really matters, to be honest. It hasn't mattered in years, so it probably doesn't have any real significance. Now, on screen right now, you can see a screenshot of the main menu, and you can see the zombies splash screen. So the design is pretty much exactly the same as Modern Warfare, but yeah, you can see the back there. Once again, it's very Nacht Untitled-esque, and we can see the zombie right there. Now, on this image, there is a red CIA classified intelligence logo, and then there's a weird blue thing at the bottom, and it says outbreak 8% contained. So I guess the storyline is just going to be trying to contain an outbreak. Now, throughout the trailer, we see these arrows. There is one specifically pointed upwards on the Nacht Untoten staircase, and we see another one in the background. Now, these arrows glow in the dark, so it's obvious that after you turn the power on, the light will come on the map, and the arrows are pointing you in the direction of power. However, if you actually look up close on the arrows, they are indeed animated. You can see it's just a galaxy. There's different solar systems and stars that you can see moving about. It looks really cool. It's basically just like staring into the cosmos. But the thing is, if it is animated, then it must mean that there is some sort of mythical influence on this map, one that we haven't seen before. We've never seen these animated arrows in zombies ever before, so there has to be some sort of lore behind why they are there, which I guess maybe it could be set in the dark ether, then maybe that could explain it. I don't know. Interestingly enough though, this animated texture is the exact same texture as the Dark Divide character skin within Black Ops 4, so is there any correlation there? I really don't know what this could mean, but you can let me know some theories down in the comment section down below as to why these arrows exist and as to why they are animated. It kind of ties into the writing that I pointed out earlier about this place being an out-of-world place. Anyways, the next thing that I want to point out is regarding the characters. So there are a couple shots where the screen sort of glitches out and there's a lot of weird things that show on screen. One shot shows this unknown woman. I'm not sure who this actually is. This seems like a new character that we have not ever seen before, but this is going to be one of our zombie characters. Obviously, we don't know if they're going to be the playable characters, but they might be involved in the cutscenes and the storyline at least. I'm assuming these glitch shots are probably from the intro cutscene or something like that, maybe. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this is correct, but this character might actually be played by Lisa, who actually played the Oracle within Black Ops 4 Zombies' Chaos storyline. Because we know that she is returning for this game. She was doing motion capture. She put it on Instagram a while ago, so could she be the actor for this new character? I'm not entirely sure, but that is a possibility. Now, this woman could be Helen Pack from the campaign. She does look familiar, but it's not exact. I'm not sure if it is her, but she entered Oxford at the young age of 16 while working on her doctorate in international relations. Her older brother was severely injured in an RAA car bomb attack in London, leading her to immediately drop out from the program. She began to study the origins and motivations of international paramilitary organizations, eventually leading her to join the ranks of MI6. Park and Adler respect each other, but their partnership isn't always pretty. She is methodological by nature and at times believe Adler is making snap decisions. After several years of international assignments, Park was placed on protective service for 2 British scientists. Under Park's watch, the team was set to travel to a Clandestine location to collaborate with the CIA on an official sponsored project. There she met Adler, a key figure in the new program, and personally took on an expanded role in its development. Afterwards, she would join Adler on an ad hoc black operations team utilizing the fruits of their labor together. However, their interests of MI6 and the Crown always come first for Park, whether her new partners know it or not. Interestingly enough, within the initial initial description we got for Black Ops Cold War Zombies, the image that they showed was of Sergeant Frank Woods and also Adler. So are they going to be integrated into this zombie storyline as well? Obviously that is a placeholder image. I believe that's a shot from the campaign, but it must mean something, surely. I mean, after all, Sergeant Frank Woods was featured within a poster for Shangri-La, because that map was originally going to be set in Vietnam, but apparently he was originally going to be on Shangri-La, and he also has a 115 tattoo that doesn't make any sense just yet, so there's still things that they could explore in the future. Now, the next character that actually is shown is from the campaign, specifically Gregory Weaver. This character was featured within Black Ops 1. This is definitely Weaver, 100%. He has his iconic eye patch on. He obviously lost his left eye during executive order after Lev Kravchenko gouges out his eye with a knife, and he wears the eye patch throughout the remainder of Black Ops 1's campaign. He was also one of the ones that interrogated Alex Mason in Black Ops 1's campaign alongside Hudson. So we are going to be playing as campaign characters within this storyline. Obviously we've known the zombies and the campaign stuff have been heavily connected for a while. I've already talked about this within lots of videos. Now, throughout the trailer we obviously have a bunch of different glitches, but there are also points within the trailer where images slash videos are overlaid on top of the footage. And you can see this post from Zeroy over on the Call of Duty Zombies Reddit on screen right now, and you can see there are multiple shots from Black Ops 1's campaign overlaid over this Cold War Zombies teaser. Now, the top one is the most interesting because it is actually the scene in which Steiner dies within Black Ops 1's campaign. Now, obviously we presumed that he was killed by Reznov, however later on we found out that it was obviously just Alex Mason who killed him, as he had been brainwashed.
Let us end this.
Krikovic's men are rounding up everyone on the island! Those no longer essential to his plans are being executed! You must hurry before they kill me too!
Friedrich Steiner. This is the end.
I know you. Vorkuta. You don't know what we did to you.
Mason, talk to me.
Your evil has claimed the lives of many good men. No longer.
Killing me will not stop Nova.
I do not care about Nova. My name is Victor Reznov. And I will have my revenge!
Now, the next couple shots are simply Mason's eye, and it has all of the numbers from Mason being brainwashed on top of it. This is directly from Black Ops 1's campaign, and if in all of these shots we're seeing it from the perspective of Mason, could it hint that Mason is going to play a part within this new Zombies storyline? Because all of these shots are in the perspective of Mason. So could Reznov or Mason play a part within this storyline, or even Steiner? Although I would assume Steiner's already dead unless he's been reanimated as a zombie or something like that. I wonder if these even have any significance, these shots from the campaign, or if they are kind of just meaningless. They have to mean something. Obviously, Reznov has been mentioned multiple times in Zombies. He's obviously referenced on Gorod Krovy, and the Pack-a-Punched AK-47 is called Reznov's Revenge. So, what does this all mean? I guess only time will tell. Now, the next thing that I want to bring up is, as you guys know, it has been heavily rumoured for quite some time that TranZit, Die Rise, and Buried were originally going to be within Black Ops 4 Zombies, however they were cancelled. Along with 2 other Chaos maps that were originally supposed to release as well, they were also cancelled. So it has been rumoured that they could reuse a lot of the stuff that they were working on for TranZit, Die Rise, and Buried within Black Ops 4, and they could push it over to Black Ops Cold War. Well, we already have evidence for that with the fact that this trailer kind of hints that we could be seeing some sort of new rendition of TranZit, but within the multiplayer trailer we learn about this new map called Satellite. It's this desert map and it's set in Angola. Now, Angola is actually the exact same location as Buried's town within Black Ops 2. And within this trailer, there are multiple bull skulls on the ground in the sand. And guess what? What was Buried's icon within the Black Ops 2 Zombies menu? Yes, that is right. It was a bull skull. Bear in mind, within Blackout in Black Ops 4, the entirety of Buried is pretty much already done and remastered. And in terms of TranZit, there's already a ton of assets within the game as well. We obviously have the diner, we have the TranZit TranZit bus as well with Ted, etc. There's already a lot of stuff within the game, so I am fully expecting a bunch of buried Easter eggs on this satellite map and references and stuff like that. But if they are working on a map set in the same location as Buried, it definitely hints that Buried could be back, because they have a lot of assets from this multiplayer map that they could interchange with Buried. I mean, they pretty much have the entirety already done within Blackout as well, and also TranZit Diaries and Buried, as I was saying, have been rumored for ages. Now within this trailer, as I was saying earlier, it really reminds me of World War II Zombies in the fact that it definitely seems like it's going to be a horror zombies experience. I mean, from the official description that we've gotten from Trek for zombies, it really seemed that way anyways, and the thing is, I hope it's not too similar to World War II Zombies. It was kind of depressing, to be honest, not going to lie. It kind of got repetitive, so I'm glad that I see bright colours and stuff like that, so it's not going to be as drab as World War II Zombies. But something that I noticed is it does look like this map could be set on a boat. Now obviously we see Nacht Untitled within the trailer. Nacht Untitled is not set on a boat unless that's a different map, or maybe it is the same map. I think it's the same map because they're both dark, but maybe it's just some sort of other section. But it does look like a boat, and the reason why I say this, and I'm not 100% sure if it is a boat, but you see that there's a lot of metal fencing with handles on, and the ground is mostly metal. It does seem like it is some sort of boat, and it really reminds me of the Rusalka from Black Ops 1. Now the Rusalka is a Soviet ship anchored in the Cuban waters of the Gulf of Mexico that appears in Black Ops. It is a key component to Project Nova, in which it acts as the station from which the number sequences are broadcast to activate the sleeper agents across the United States. Now on the Zombies map Classified, there are a bunch of hints towards Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War's campaign and also Zombies. I already made a whole video months ago talking about this, and I'm going to play a snippet from that video right now because I was speculating about this a while ago. This paragraph references the mission Project Nova from the campaign. For those that do not remember, Dragovich, Kravchenko and Steiner, along with the other Russian troops, including Reznov and Petrenko, all arrive at a crashed German freighter in the ice, hoping to raid it for its supply of Nova 6, created by Steiner himself. Reznov and Petrenko are betrayed, and Nova 6 is tested on them as Dragovich, Kravchenko and Steiner escape. British operatives arrive on the scene trying to capture some of the Nova 6, as Reznov makes his escape, blowing up the freighter as he leaves to prevent anyone from getting the Nova 6. The blue ink person highlighted killed an explosion, possibly because they know that Reznov did not die all along with the people on this ship. Or could they be implying, I don't know, 115 was present and people were not technically killed per se, and obviously were resurrected as zombies instead? Interesting to note. So yeah, I really do think a lot of this could be hinting for either the campaign storyline or the zombie storyline for Call of Duty 2020, if not both. So yeah, maybe we could see some sort of zombies map for Call of Duty 2020 that ties into this boat from the Black Ops 1 campaign. So yeah, what do you think? Could this be the Rusalka? I am just speculating now, it might not be, and it probably isn't, especially since Nacht Untitled is part of the map, and maybe even possibly TranZit. As I was saying, I'm not convinced it is TranZit, it's not 100% TranZit, but a lot of people are speculating it's TranZit right now, especially with the fact that Nacht Untitled is within TranZit. If it's like Black Ops 4 Zombies, we're probably going to be able to choose which starting pistol we start off with, maybe. Now we know from the official description that we are going to be having melee weapons in Zombies, potentially even spades, and we also know that we're going to be able to use Soviet weaponry and stuff like that, so I assume most of the weapons from multiplayer, if not all of them, are going to be usable within Zombies. We will just have to wait and see. Executions are confirmed to be within Black Ops Cold War, so I'm assuming we're going to be able to use executions in Zombies like World War II Zombies. You can definitely tell they've taken a lot of inspiration from World War II Zombies, which I don't really know if it's a good or a bad thing just yet. I guess it just depends on when we actually get to play. I hope it's not too much influence, and I hope they've only taken the good things about it, because there were definitely a lot of bad things. Anyways, that's all I wanted to go through within today's video. I will leave a link to my prior Black Ops Cold War Zombies videos down in this video's description before we got this teaser, because they're definitely worth going back and watching, since I don't want to just recap all of that within this video. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not here for the latest and greatest Black Ops Cold War Zombies news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.